Hello. I was doing some research for another video that I'm about to produce, and I came across this, and there's elements of it I need to share with you so that you can have a greater understanding of how this sport, I'll say sport, how this show treats the fans of the sport. So I'm going to show you a few clips from this interview, and it'll hopefully clarify the situation to you. You can find this full interview, it's a 30-minute long interview, on YouTube. Type in Bernie Ecclestone interview and look for this one here by this YouTuber and watch it in your own time. I'm just going to show you a few clips of it. So here goes. This is really important. This is what Formula One thinks of you as a fan. Now, you might say, oh, well, this is just Bernie Ecclestone. This is 7 years ago. It's not like that now. Bernie Ecclestone built Formula One to what it was because he was the commercial rights owner. So he developed the spectacle to be what it was and then sold it for money. And Liberty Media bought it and want to grow it even more and make even more money out of it. And Bernie Ecclestone was the man that they actually bought his services to advise them how to do that. So this is Bernie Ecclestone's opinion of you as the fan. Here goes.
Now, if you went into the grandstand at the next race in Austin, ask the public, what's the capacity of the engines? How many cylinders? How much power? How much fuel do they use? They wouldn't be able to answer any of those questions. And you could probably even answer a lot of the people that are currently involved in Formula One, and they wouldn't know either. And don't care either.
For me, it's also not understandable, the rules, because if I see a FIA bulletin and there is written that Mr. Alonso has to go 45 places back because this is the power unit part 1, 2 and 3.
That's Max Mosley having a chuckle to himself there. That's the man that was involved in the nasty sex orgy when he was president of the FIA. At this moment in time, he'd actually relinquished that position, and Jean Todt was head of the FIA, the guy that was head of the FIA at the time of Abu Dhabi. And his departure and seemed to coincide nicely with the Abu Dhabi scandal, so that none of it could be pinned on him because he was no longer the man in position. Anyway, that was Bernie Ecclestone's opinion of the knowledge of the average fan about the sport of Formula One. And let's now hear what he had to say when asked about what changes he would make about to Formula One.
What would you change, Mr. Ecclestone?
I mean, we mustn't forget that we're in the entertainment business. So we ought to have rules that the public want, really. We should be asking the public, what do you not like about Formula One today? And what did you like about Formula One before? And people say, Ecclestone, you're getting too old. You know, the young kids today, they're a bit different. And they all watch the race, even, which is a difference, and maybe not good, where they don't need to watch television. They can do whatever they're doing and still watch the race on their laptops. So we have to have a complete rethink.
So what you're saying is, you're not really interested in the rules of the sport. You're interested in developing the spectacle so that people want to see it. Is that with total disregard for rules of sport? Do you care about sport, or do you just care about money? I think the answer to that question is fairly obvious. So far we've established that he thinks fans are thick and have no clue about Formula One in terms of what they're watching, the technical aspects of the car. Let's face it, the examples he gave about the technical aspects of the car aren't really disclosed anyway. They don't tell us, the public, the power outputs of the Formula One engines. They all keep them pretty secret. But if they gave them figures, there's quite a few people that would memorise them things because they're interested in that sort of thing. All right, but they do keep all these things fairly secretive. People are interested, people do care. He thinks that people don't understand the rules of the sport. He thinks that actually we shouldn't bother about the rules of the sport and we should decide on what it is that people want to see. And that should take precedent over sporting rules. Okay. Finally, I just want to show you this clip because it gives an indication as to this man's opinion of Sir Lewis Hamilton. Now, it's not particularly explicit, and he does kind of give himself a bit of a fallback position, but I took a lot from this as to this man's attitude towards Lewis Hamilton. See what you think.
When people say to me, who do I think was the best driver? And the name I come up with, most people don't agree with me. I say Alan Prost. Because Prost had to look after his brakes, the gearbox, everything. And he did a good job, so he finished more races and he finished in a better position. Whereas today, they don't have the... I mean, they sit there on the starting grid and there's an engineer that starts the race. It's just not on. As Max said, it should be when the lights go off, they're on their own. They don't need somebody to tell them, yes, but so your co-driver's using this, whatever, through this corner or doing that, whatever. Just not on.
So the intelligence was in the car, not on the pit wall.
It's an engineer's championship, more or less. We're not saying that Lewis isn't a super driver, but he's getting a hell of a lot of help. I'd like to see him in a GP2 car with the GP2 drivers.
Must we?
I'm not saying he wouldn't win, but it would be interesting.
When they
Yeah, I'd like to see Lewis in that because he'd beat everybody at that as well. But you like to discredit, you like to undermine, you like to cast doubt on all of Sir Lewis Hamilton's achievements in this sport, and I wonder why that is. You're the man that has recently supposedly come out, it's been reported that you're the man that has said the 2008 World Championship should be Felipe Massa's, and that is going to be a video that I'm going to explore that notion and show you again the ridiculous nature of the comments that you make. Hopefully this has just given you a little bit more information and a bit of insight as to how they treat us as fans and why it is they think they can get away with doing what they did in Abu Dhabi, which they so far have, because it's worked. Because actually their attitudes towards fans are true. Because many fans are thick. Many fans don't know. Many fans don't care. Right? And therefore that enables them to get away with what they did. But we do care. We do know. And we are being treated like this by them. And they make money. And okay, I'm pointing the finger at the two guys on screen. One of them's passed away now. The other man is the man that sold the sport of Formula One to Liberty Media. He then advised them, and they've made further billions of pounds out of this show by contriving it. But that is the attitudes, that's the underlying attitudes of this show. And if you think that things have changed from the time this interview was produced to how it actually is now under Liberty Media, you're sorely mistaken. Okay, that underlying process, that underlying contempt for the viewer is still there, and that was evident in 2021 with what they served up to us in cheating the sport's greatest ever competitor out of his 8th World Championship. And the man on the right of the screen is in some way partially responsible for the manner that he has influenced the sport and still exerts an influence. Anyway, I'm going to do the analysis of Crashgate and show you how that relates to Abu Dhabi too. And there are still at least 3 more important analyses that I've got to produce when I get the time into Abu Dhabi. Hopefully, it won't be too long before I put the next one out. Thanks again for watching. Cheers.